Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are diving into an exciting area, month-over-month sales revenue growth, and we are using Power BI to make it all come to life. We'll start off with a real-world scenario, an email from a stakeholder. This will help us frame our journey and set clear goals, so there will be no jargon, just clear, actionable steps. We'll uncover the essential KPI that guides our analysis, and then right into Power BI we go. We'll load data, shape it, and create visuals that tell a compelling story. By the end, you'll see just how our insights provide tangible answers to real business questions. So here you guys can see the monthly sales growth analysis dashboard that we want to end up with. So there's some different steps that we have to go through, but this is where we want to end up. Now, the first thing I want to do is I just want to take you guys through the PowerPoint and let's understand a little bit more about what is monthly sales growth, read the mail from the stakeholder and look at some of the user stories that we have outlined. So the mail from the stakeholder is as following. Seeking insight on sales dynamics. Dear awesome data professional, I trust you're doing well. Lately, I've been contemplating our sales performance and find myself pondering how we can effectively gauge the changes in our sales dynamics over short periods. This understanding will enable us to better anticipate market demands, optimize our strategies, and engage our team with meaningful targets. While I don't have a specific metric in mind, I'm envisioning something that can help us see how our sales are shifting without necessarily waiting for quarterly or yearly reviews. An indicator of our performance rhythm, if you will. Would you be able to suggest a suitable analysis or metric that captures this essence? Additionally, a historical perspective on this, maybe over the past year, could provide a useful context for us. Your insights have always been crucial in our endeavors. Looking forward to your recommendations. Best, Jonathan Doe, Vice President of Sales Analytics. So this is just a hypothetical mail that we have got from a stakeholder, and there are some things here that we want to point out that we kind of want to latch onto and notice. And that's what we're gonna think about when we go to the next step, which is to create some user stories based on the information that we have here. So if I go to the next slide, you'll see that I've now created some user stories. And these are just small sentences or stories that I create to make sure that I have picked up on the important points. And this is something that I will refer to later to see, does our dashboard or insight answer the needs that we have defined in the user stories based on the mail from the stakeholders. So let's read the user stories. Number one, understanding sales shifts. As a VP of Sales Analytics, I want to easily visualize changes in our sales dynamics over short periods to anticipate market demands and adjust strategies. Number two, optimize strategy planning. As a VP of Sales Analytics, I want insights into sales performance beyond quarterly and yearly reviews to make timely decisions and optimize strategies. Number three, team engagement and targets. As a VP of Sales Analytics, I want to engage with my team with meaningful and achievable sales targets to keep them motivated, aligned with our goals. Number four, historical perspective or context. As a VP of Sales Analytics, I want a historical overview of our sales dynamics over the past year to understand context and baselines. Number five, recommendations of metrics. As a VP of Sales Analytics, I want recommendations on metrics that captures sales shifts to communicate effectively with my team and stakeholders. So these are examples on user stories that you can write based on this information here. And what we're going to do, we're going to keep going. We're going to talk a little bit about the calculation, monthly sales growth. We're going to jump into Power BI, work with it there. When I'm done with the dashboard, I'm going to refer back to these and see which ones can I answer, which ones can I not answer, just to show a little bit of that awareness of what you create versus what was the actual need from the end user. So we can come back to that a little bit later. The selected KPI that we're going for, monthly sales growth, measures the month-over-month increase in sales revenue. It could be something else, but in this case, it's for sales revenue. So an example, in January, our sales revenue was $100,000, and in February, it increased to $120,000. This indicates a monthly sales growth of 20%. A way of applying it, tracking monthly sales growth helps us assess the effectiveness of our marketing efforts or other initiatives that affect sales revenue and helps us identify trends, which enables us to make informed decisions on, it could be inventory, staffing, promotions, other things that are affected by the sales revenue increase or decrease in terms of percentage and as a KPI. So this sets a little bit of the story. We've looked a little bit at the use case. Let's go into Power BI now. So like I said, this is the end product that we want to end up with. In here, I have a blank Power BI file, and we're going to work our way to get to this. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to copy this textbook, this text box. Sorry, not a book, it's a box. Oh, that wasn't right. Let's go back one more time. Let's try and copy this. Control C and Control V. So we got the same heading here and there. Then we can start to add some of the other elements. Actually, let's add this one first and let's get in some data. So get data, Excel workbook, and it's this one, example data. Look in the description if you want to do this yourself. All the information you need is there to get the data and get going. We have the data. We can go to transform data just to take a look at it. So we can see the different rows. We have a date column, product, region, salesperson, customer segment, product type, and sales amount. Great. Close and apply. What happens? We were just in Power Query, which is what is used to load data into Power BI. We select our data source and then we start to load the data into Power BI. So just for reference, I'm going to go back and forth a little bit between these two. One, because it makes it easier for me to remember what I need to do, and two, just to show you guys the progression in terms of building this back and forth. We need a date table, and this is a DAX calculated table. Let me get it in first and then I can talk about it a little bit. So we'll go to modeling and we'll go to new table. You'll see it'll create a new table here on the right. It's asking for the logic for the table. I'm just going to paste this in first to save time and just for reusability. But it's going to find the lowest year based on the date column in my data table, find the highest date, and then generate the year of that based on the date column. Then it's going to add a calendar with these columns based on the informations in these two variables. Then you can see calendar year is CYN year. We can just call it month name, month number. Okay, we'll work on this as we go. I just remember that there are some small changes I want. So we have that. Now we have two tables. We have our data table. We have our date table. We'll take our data table, put it at the bottom, the date table up here, select date, drag it down to date so that it filters down. Okay, didn't know, I haven't seen that adder before, but I know that if I do this, it's going to create a relationship. Now you can see now this is a bi-directional relationship. We don't want that. So double click the relationship so you get this edit box, and then it's going to be, this is going to be many to one. There are many rows in the data table which will be filtered by one row on the data table, and it's going to be a single way relationship. Notice now it changed, cross filter direction changed to single, and it's pointing from the date table down to data. Great, exactly what we want. Go back to the report view. Now we have these two tables. So I'll select it and then I can mark as date table. And then it's going to select that column, which is the date column, which is fine. We can take this one, just call it year. I don't need it to be calendar year. There's a month name. I want a month name short, so I'm going to copy this one down. I'll call it month name short. You'll see later why I'm doing this. And it's going to be MMM, I believe. Let's check. Table, we have month name. Oops. That's the month names, and then we have month name short. That's the small version. You can see they aren't sorted correctly, so let's fix that also. Click month name, sort by column, month number. It's going to sort that by the integer of the month. Same with month name short, sort by column, month number. Same. We're getting there. Much cleaner, much cleaner. Okay, perfect. The next thing we can do, we can add these slicers on the left, or we can add calculations. Let's go with calculations first. So the first one we've called sales. It's just a sum of the sales amount. So let's add that one. Right click on the table where we want the measure to show up, and we'll call it sum. Sales equals sum sales amount. Yes, great. That's now going to show up here. Okay, good. I'm just gonna hide this one. And then we have sales previous month. Gonna go right click, new measure. I'm just copy pasting a little bit now, and then I'll talk you guys through this. Sales previous month, and then it says calculate, which is a function. A function you can use to change how a measure behaves. In this case, we're taking the previous measure that we created before sales. We're referencing it here, and then we're taking parallel periods, and we're going 1 month back. Which basically means that if you are in February, for the period that you are in, this measure, I want it to behave a way that it shows in February a certain amount, but the amount it shows is from the previous month. So we can try to just show you guys. We have a table. I add sales previous month, and I add the month name there. You'll see that this 47,300, it shows in February, it shows the amount from the previous month on the same row as the current month. So sales is the current month, and this is the previous month. And it's because we're going to look at how did it change percentage-wise between this month and the previous month. While I'm here, you can click a measure, add a 1,000 delimiter. Same on this one. Just formats the numbers a little bit better. Then we'll go to sales growth. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go new measure. Sales growth. Before we go through it, let me just add it to the table. I want you guys to see the effect of this measure. You can see now. Let me make it into a percentage. Great. So you can see it's taking previous month. It's taking current month, dividing on the previous month, and then removing the -1. Before that, though, is checking. Do you have a previous month value? If you don't have that, like on the first row, you don't have a previous month value, then just blank it out. And in January, you don't have the previous month, unless you look at December as the previous month. But let's take it for granted that it's in 1 year, and this is just test data. Otherwise, you take sales, divides 49,000 by 47,300, gets a value, and then takes -1. And this is the growth percentage that we want to look at and be a little bit aware of to see how is the sales, how is it, developing from month to month. So now we have the different calculations. So what's great now is if you think about it, we have the data we need, we have the calculations. Now we just have to get it into the dashboard. So now we can start to reference even more back and forth between the two different dashboards. So we have month name, product category, and product type. Let's start to add those. So I'll add month name. That is right there. I'll make it into that's visual settings. I'll make it into a drop down. That's the style that I like. You can use any style you want. I'm going to put it all the way top and hold shift and press one arrow down. Then it moves a certain number of pixels down. That's great. We have you there. To make it stand out a little bit more, you can see it's all white background. I'm going to click the background and go to canvas background, color, the gray. I like to set it to 50%. You can set it to 10% if you want it to show even more. Because you can see now when I click this one, it's going to go to effects on the background, and then it's a little bit easier to see the borders around the elements. We got month name, then I'm going to go Control C, Control V. We got a new slicer, same size, same everything. Product category and product type is what I want. Product category, Control C, Control V. You can see it just goes quicker and quicker because you start to have the elements done, and you just have to copy and change a small thing on a lot of it. Then we have sales previous month, and sales growth. So let's do that. Let's add those KPIs. So we have sales. I'm going to put it right there. Shift right. What I like to do, I like to add everything, make it look exactly as I want. No display units. Make it a little bit smaller. Make the background white. Perfect. Visual, the label is a little bit hard to see. A little bit smaller, like that. Let's say this is how I want it. Then I copy and paste it because there's so much stuff I don't have to redo, which I would otherwise have to do. So this is previous month. And then I'm gonna go this one, sales growth. And it's important that I only select the months where I know I have data forwards and backwards, like full data month over month. So it's February, March, and April. Those are the months that I can actually do this, where I have data both for previous month and current month to see the sales growth. Then we can make this bar chart. Actually, it's a clustered column chart if you want the exact correct naming. Put it there. Shift right, one down. Let's fill it out. Let's go month name short. We will go sales amount previous month. And then on the line, we're gonna put the growth. And once again, we're gonna make this look nice and then use this, copy paste this to the pie chart so we don't have to redo all the formatting. The sales amount, I'll put you there. I'll put, what did I do? Current month, previous month, okay. So I actually had, this is current month, this is previous month, and then I had a black line. Lines, make it a little bit thicker, colors, black. Okay, good. Turn on some data labels. Let's just keep the data labels on the growth percentage. That's at least what I chose. You can choose exactly as you want. It's up to you. Make it white. Make the background black and then turn it down. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Apply settings to sales growth. There we are. That should be good. Values, color, white. Easy to see. Last thing, general effects, background. There you are. Title. Let's make it easier to see. Okay. Let's give these a bit better name. Sales. Previous month. And then no, we can keep sales growth. I actually took in the wrong measure here, I can see. I took in the column. I gotta do it one more time. Give me 1 second. Make that yellow. Data labels. Sales off. Great. There we are. Now I'm gonna take this one, Control C, Control V, put it under here, and shift down, drag it down, turn it into a donut chart. We got month name short. We want product type, so we can remove that. We want the growth percentage, so it looks like that. Detail labels, data value, I believe. Let's go category and data value. Okay. Prices, just to match the other colors, we can do that. Did I have on the other one? Smartphones and apparel, yep. I have a little bit bigger text in this one, but take this one. One thing I want to fix, y-axis, values, display units, none. You can see then it shows the full numbers. Something I prefer. Copy, paste, drag it down. make this into a nice table. So we have month name short on the rows. We can rename it to month. On the columns, we have the calculations, sales, previous month growth. I actually like to, because of the width that a long label name creates, here I would go sales prices PM, and then I'd call it growth. We can call it sales growth percentage. It puts it, it makes it more compact, and I like that. I think we have, what do we have under here? We have product category. Okay, so what we can do, we can add the product category under the month. And then we need to turn on these plus signs so that you can expand it. Great. And then we're gonna add salesperson under the product category. Now we can drill down in the hierarchy and see who is performing well within different categories. So I'm gonna have it on this level by default. The last thing I want to do, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to conditional formatting, background color. We're going to create a basic grading just to show who is doing well. So I'll take the lowest value, put it to white. Don't format the zeros. Put this to green. And the darker the value, the higher the sales growth. And then when you drill into it, you go from the product category to the salesperson. That happens again on salespeople. If you want to sort it by months, I think it's fine. It makes sense. So now it looks the same as this one, and we can start to use it a little bit. Click around and see a little bit how it works. If I click smartphones, it's going to filter down to that. If I click, if I click something else, it's going to filter down to that. So now it's all kind of working together and trying to figure out how to do this. So now we can click around and see how it works. If I click apparel, it's going to change to show that. Same if I go to smartphones, I can select a product type over here and everything changes to that. The dynamic nature of the dashboard is there. So last thing, let's go back and now see which ones of the user stories can we actually answer and say that we have kind of solved. So the first one is just understanding sales shifts. I want to see how sales changes basically over time. So now the last step is to take a look at our user stories and see, are we answering the user stories that we outlined before. The first one was understanding sales shifts. As a VP of Sales Analytics, I want to easily visualize changes in our sales dynamics over short periods to anticipate market demands and adjust strategies. So now you can see over the different months, you can see how it's changing. You can see here in the table, it's easy to go from month point of view down to something which is in this case product category or the salesperson. So you can drill into it, and it's more granular than quarterly and yearly. So I think we've answered this one. It's pretty much the same here. This one is also more on being able to go into the data beyond the quarterly and yearly. I think I already showed that. But again, it's about time and optimization, and it needs to just be more frequent than what he has outlined here, which is maybe what they have today. Team engagements and targets. Now, because I added salesperson under these, then they can talk about, okay, who's the best salesperson under different products, and they can also look at different people and see how they have been performing over time to try and set different targets for the salesperson if they want to. We could have also taken this one, copied it back in here. Oops, let's not move the old one. Okay, let me fix that. Shift down, this one, shift down, and added salesperson as a slicer here, as a filter. And then use that if you only want to focus on one salesperson, regardless of anything and how they have performed. That also works there. I think this covers number 3, historical perspective or context. This is one that we actually can't do, and that's because I only have data for a couple months in 2023. Of course, that's because it's an example data set, but we couldn't have done it if this was our data and this was an actual real user story. And the last one is a recommendation of metric. So, I chose a fairly simple one, monthly sales growth, but you can see how much you can do with that if you have a couple dimensions. You have the date and you have the power of Power BI, all the dynamicness and how easy it is to navigate. Then you can really drill into that KPI and bring a lot of value to the business for them to also understand how their sales is growing and how it's evolving and what they should do to make sure it keeps growing. Thank you guys for spending the time with us today. If you found this video valuable, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and consider sharing it. Your thoughts or questions, you can drop those in the comments below. Always here to guide and support you on your data analysis journey, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial.